Yellow, it's Memento. That might be the cringiest intro I've ever done in my life. But I'm here to tell you all about the game Snacko. Snacko is a hidden gem just waiting for the right people to discover it, and I'm here to be one of those right people. So first off, I was going through my Steam recommended, just seeing what unhinged games would pop up this time. If you know, you know. When this game called Snacko pops up, I see that it includes cats, and honestly, I'm a simple person to please, so that's all it takes to get me to scroll down and see what's up. Because, I mean, pixel art, cats, I don't know, I'm a simple person. And what I see has me absolutely sold on the game, especially when I see that there is a free demo listed. Y'all know how I feel about demos. So I download the demo and decide right then and there to boot everything up and get my butt recording. I really did not plan this video at all in the beginning. Now it's super planned. Now it's scripted. So what I'm greeted with is a game that far exceeds my expectations. So let me walk you through my first 2 hours playing Snacko. The game starts off with you on a boat with your friend, ready to take a vacation. Suddenly, rain starts falling, and in no time at all, what's supposed to be a peaceful vacation turns into a disaster as both of you jump into the water, hoping that you survive this mess. I'm not sure I would have, but kudos to our character, because guess what? We wash up on shore, and soon we meet this lovable but grumpy cat who takes us in and takes care of you. Later you learn that his name is Nobu, and he's a girl dad. So honestly, everything starts to make so much more sense why he was like, let me take care of you both. He is quite possibly my favorite character in the game so far. But guess what? You've washed up in your destination, Snacko Island. This place that you went to go to on vacation to get away from corporate life. Turns out it's desolated. It's deserted save for Nobu, who states that he's too stubborn to leave despite the miasma and curse of the island. Which, side note, missed opportunity to call it miasma. But in the demo, we don't learn too much about the curse, but that makes for an interesting mystery, and it does push players forward in this cozy game. It gives us a reason that we're doing what we're doing without being too much. The game then proceeds to give you so many tutorials. The nice thing is you can skip these, so it's not like you have to play them multiple times if you want to start a new playthrough. Spoiler alert, I've played it through twice now, and I skipped the tutorials, and I found it did not take away from the overall experience. I actually just go in my backpack, and as it says, I have all the things I would have obtained during the tutorial. So even though the tutorials do drag a tiny bit, there's a lot of reading, I did find that it was pretty intuitive if you played a farming game before, and you only have to do them once. You honestly don't even need to do them once. You can fly by the seat of your pants, but I like to at least do them once just in case. Once you get through the tutorials, you're off to the races, and quickly it becomes clear that you're going to play a key role in repopulating Snacko Island. Now that there's 2 more residents, of course that means suddenly we have no more fear of the miasma, and we're gonna figure out a way to take it on. The story is really simple to start, but as you hear more from Nobu, it becomes clear that there's a lot more going on than we first thought. There isn't too much of it that was covered in the demo, but just enough to show us how massive this story would be. It turns out we will have to find these shrines, and there's a lot going on the island that we don't know about, and is kind of the main story quest, as opposed to simply a cozy living simulator. You do have an overall plot that you can engage in, but from what I have seen so far, it does not seem that there is a time limit. It's not like Stardew Valley where you're hoping to appease the ghost of your grandfather, which doesn't mean anything even if you don't, but there isn't even anything like that pushing you forward yet, so the main story quest you truly can take at your own pace. and I like that. So honestly, that's how my first 2 hours went. And with the overarching story out of the way, I want to break down some of the other elements that I saw in Snacko. First, I want to touch on the characters since I've mentioned quite a few of them already. There are 2 characters you start off knowing. Your childhood friend Mikan, who is on the boat with you and is too cute for words, and the grumpy old man Nobu. Both of them are incredibly endearing and don't feel over the top. Personally, I fell in love with Nobu. I think he is so precious, and I cannot wait to get to know him more. As you continue on in the game, you meet more characters, and Snacko does something that I thought was really interesting, and I haven't seen it in too many other cozy games. When you invite people to your island, you actually get to choose from one of 3 personality traits on which one you would like to come. So when I was inviting the grocer in my demo playthrough, I chose for a quirky grocer because I thought that would be fun, and that's going to give you 1 character. And in my personal playthrough, I actually chose one of the other options, and that gave me a different one. And what I noticed in my personal playthrough was it changed how the shop looked too, and it changed what materials I needed. So I found that really interesting. I don't know if maybe it was simplified down for the demo itself, but I did think that that was a really cool change, that it definitely changed the inside and appearance of the outside of the store. That was such a nice touch that really is going to customize the village to what you want. It's a very fun system though, and it's reminiscent of Animal Crossing, how you get to go to the different islands and find different people, well, different animals that you want to come live with you, and I like that. I think that's fun. I don't see that a lot. Pretty much every other farming sim I've ever played, you don't get to choose who lives in your town. They're just already there, or they come back later. So this was something really different. The demo also introduced me to the curator, who's very on the nose with her comments, and I was able to invite a grocer. Though I didn't meet many characters, those I did meet I enjoyed, and looking at the wiki, I've been able to see just how many characters they are, and they all look so cute. Oh my goodness. The art for the character sprites actually sold me. But enough about characters, let me move on to the music. I found the music to be lovely to listen to. It set the mood well. The soundtrack is varied, changing between areas, which allows for more auditory interest, basically. And I especially love the music that played when I went to the hills. There's also a lovely cutscene that plays that really just sets up how beautiful this area is, and I enjoyed that so much. Finally, I want to get through the mechanics of the game. This might be a little long because these farming games have a lot going on and lots of different things to cover, so I'm going to try to keep it concise but thorough. Might be hard for me, but it's going to be worth it, I promise. So the first mechanic, farming. This is a core element of the farming sim genre. I like that your tools are kept separate since it means I don't have to worry about backpack space. But also I would like to note the backpack is huge, featuring 4 layers of stuff, no backpack upgrades in sight, and there's automatic overflow, so I doubt I would have been worrying about space, but it is still nice that my tools are always with me and I don't have to play the game of storing my watering can when I go adventuring. The farming is relatively simple. Hoe the ground, plant the seed, water the crop, prosper in a few days. It's not hard, but I did find that sometimes I would lock onto random tiles at the last second, and this does just seem to be the result of being in a 3D world, and it's something that I did notice as I was playing through a second time. I didn't struggle with this as much, but it will take something to get used to. Another thing I noticed is that you have to sometimes hoe the ground up to 3 times before you actually are able to plant a seed. God forbid those flowers are there, because you have to hoe the flower, and then you have to hoe the grass, and then you have to hoe the ground. To me, that was a little excessive feeling, but that might be a little bit nitpicky. However, I told you guys I was gonna be thorough. One thing I do want to make sure to touch on, though, is the fishing minigame. I was pleasantly surprised at just how different it was. In a world of cookie-cutter fishing minigames, it's really hard to find something different, and I quite liked how they approached it in this one. So, I found the tutorial was a little bit wordy, so I'm going to try to explain it. Basically, you have this arch, and this is your fishing line. Your fish is up here, and you have this line, and you have to follow the fish, and it's going to slowly reel in until it gets to the bottom. I thought that was really cool. I thought that was really inventive, and I hope that my silly little hand tutorial could kind of show you what that entails, because I truthfully haven't seen one like that. I feel like I've played a lot of fishing minigames. For someone who doesn't like to fish, I play a lot of them. And yeah, this one was the most different I've ever seen. And now I want to move on to crafting. Crafting was also done in a way that I did enjoy. My crafting table knows what's in the chests, so I don't have to suffer with going between chests to pull out materials I need. I also didn't have to worry about it when I was out in the world. And I have the memory of a goldfish purely when it comes to crafting, so this is huge for me. It keeps the process simple, especially when I need to craft multiple things, like one of the quests where I needed to turn paper into cardboard into a perfect box for maximum loafing. Which, by the way, best part of the game is when you go to bed and you become a loaf. Oh my god. But speaking of quests, this is one part I am a little bit torn on. I don't know how I feel about it. So I'm going to tell you guys, and I'm going to let you guys draw some conclusions. I like how the quests are very in-depth. They're going to tell you exactly what you need to do. You have an easy quest tracking system that gives you a checklist on the side, on like the side of your screen. What I was a little overwhelmed on, though, was there are so many of them. So the quest board that you visit pretty much every single day ended up having massive amounts of quests, it felt like, with more opening up as the day went on too. If I completed one quest, there was another to take its place, and to me personally that got a little bit overwhelming. It was almost too many quests too quickly. But they're really in-depth, and anytime I got stuck, there was pretty much an immediate solution for them. Or at least it was something I could kind of reason out. Like when I needed to get a bunch of birch wood, I could kind of figure that one out as I went. So, like I said, I'm torn. I feel like there are too many quests, but they're also so in-depth, and I really appreciated that. And there is one mechanic I didn't try out, and that would be combat. The demo didn't seem to include it, which is fine by me, but I just wanted to note that's why I'm not covering it. We did get a mysterious companion though, and I think I might have accidentally sequence broke because suddenly it was there and nothing explained it. And yeah, when I actually played, spoiler alert, the full release of the game, it turns out it seems I did in fact sequence break. The cutscene didn't trigger properly for me in the demo, and in the full release of the game, it did seem to work as intended. Side note, if you skip the tutorials in the beginning, you do skip a small cutscene that involves our little friend. So I would say maybe we need a little bit of balancing on that, because that is kind of an important cutscene since it ties back in so quickly. That's my opinion though. Overall I really liked that. I like our little friend, and I think that it's so cute. Oh my goodness. You'll see. You'll see. So, what are my overall thoughts on Snacko? Honestly, I'm so happy this game got randomly recommended to me. I literally was just going through my Steam recommended, seeing what unhinged games were in it, because Steam usually doesn't recommend things that I want. And this was like this hidden gem. I think it's a fun game. It works hard to set itself apart from other cozy farming sims since that is such a massive genre. The characters felt well thought out, the mechanics worked well, and it was so relaxing. There's something for everyone in this game, and after playing the demo, I immediately added the game to my wish list, and I was going to hold off on buying it because I knew I would get sucked in, but After it lived in my head rent-free for almost a week, I decided to treat myself. Right now, the game is priced at $25, but is on sale for $18.75 until June 5th, and I'm going to get this up before June 5th. So I think the pricing was really reasonable. When it comes to Steam, I recommend waiting for a sale. I think $18.75 was a more than reasonable price for how massive this game seems to be. From what I've looked up, there's going to be 4 unique biomes that you're going to get to explore that have the miasma in it. There are a ton of characters, there are romance options, and there are many different seasons with crops selling optimally in different seasons. So this is not a small game, and I would say spending anywhere from anything up to $20 is more than reasonable, and honestly, even $25 I think is a very reasonable price. Steam just does sales a lot, so I recommend a sale. Snacko is a game that's already showing so much potential. It's charming, enticing, and it isn't overbearing. I felt calm and relaxed, even though while I played the demo, I was trying to do as much as I could to get as much footage to show you guys. I still just felt so captivated, and it made me so happy to play this game that just randomly came across my feed. I think it's a hidden gem, and it deserves so much more attention. So if you have not already, at least check out the Snacko demo, please. I promise you will not regret it. And with that being said, I wish you a meowy happy day. That's so cringe. Really though, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you do check out Snacko. Wishlist the game if you're interested in it. That really does help the devs. And if you want to see more of me, give this video a like, leave a nice little comment, and maybe even subscribe so that you know every time I upload a new video. Have a meowy rest of your night. Ready, steady, bye!